Welcome back, Stickum 365 Radio, 365 Sports. Armstrong, do we have Mickey? Oh, I got all caps hold on there, Craig. That couldn't have been good. That's not good. That's not good. I send all caps accidentally a lot of times because when I text from my computer, and sometimes I title things in all caps so they're easier to see. And then I'll send somebody back like, yes, I'll send that right away. And they're like, whoa, dude, calm down. But all right, Mickey's on with us now. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Mick, this Cowboys-Eagles game on Saturday night, it could have been a good one a few weeks ago. I mean, it was kind of looking that way, but now it doesn't mean anything for the playoffs. The Eagles are racked with COVID a little bit more than the Cowboys are. Micah Parsons on the COVID list, all these different things happening. So are we looking at maybe a dud of a game on Saturday night?
Well, the Cowboys say their intention is to go there and win the game. Now, they're going to have, several guys missing, it looks like. With Micah Parsons, Tyron Smith, Anthony Brown, and today on the injury report, they put Donovan Wilson and Trayvon Diggs on there as questionable with an illness. And last night they said somebody had an illness. The next day it turned into COVID. So we'll see where that one goes tomorrow. But, they still have an outside chance to get that second seed, but they have to win. So how much effort they're going to put in? Mike McCarthy says the intention is to go there and win the game and play to win, not to rest guys. So maybe you play the starters a half into the third quarter and see how the game's going. Now, I know they need help to get that second seed, but wouldn't you be mad at yourself if you just punted the game away on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Tampa Bay and the Rams both get beat. And if you had won, you could have created a three-way tie for the second seed, and you would have won the second seed, which to me means, most of all, that if you win the first round game, in the second round, you don't have to go to Green Bay and play a game Sunday night.
Mickey, what were your just kind of overall thoughts on what you saw unfold against Arizona last weekend?
Yeah, another game where, they needed to make another play or two to be able to come back. I think if you look at what Tampa Bay did, what the Rams did, they all were behind in the fourth quarter, and they came back with a last-minute score to win the game. And the Cowboys were in the same boat, and they couldn't do that. So that's kind of the situation with these games down the stretch. Who thought, Tampa Bay and the Rams would have to go to the last seconds of the game to be able to win one, and stay in the hunt for the second seed, or even the first seed for them. Disappointing that they didn't make the play. That they didn't play well enough offensively, and I think maybe the scary part is, and this has been going on most of the year, when they don't get any takeaways, the defense doesn't do a good enough job of getting the other team off the field on downs and giving up big plays. And I thought those two things really hurt the defense. The big plays that Arizona came up with, and the fact that they just couldn't get enough stops to keep them from scoring 25 points.
Mickey, what did you make of the officiating in that game? I know that it's part of it, and the Cowboys could make a couple more plays or not commit holding plays on your three biggest runs of the day and all that. But it does seem like they that's what makes them off kilter. Maybe more than anything is the games where they get a ton of penalties.
10 penalties, 4 of them on third down. And 3 of them you had picked up the first down, and then the next thing you know, you're 3rd and 14. Good luck on that play call sheet to pick up a play that's going to do that for you, right? And as Mike McCarthy said, with 3 of those, that would have meant you got 3 more plays on each of those possessions. So you would have had 9 more plays. You had a chance to run the ball a little bit more. I thought a couple of those holding calls were ticky-tack. I see guys do the same thing every game, every play, and nothing's called. The ones that bothered me, there should have been 2 delay-of-game penalties called on Arizona, and they didn't. They just ignored it. I don't know what happened. You know, the one that DeMarcus Lawrence jumped off sides, and they called him for offside. Well, he was watching the shot clock, basically, and when the thing hit 0-0, he took off. Well, there was no delay of game. And then on that last drive, I was watching it, and they snapped the ball a good second after the thing hit 0-0. And had they called that, it would have nullified, I think it was a 12-yard run for Arizona, and then the Cowboys had to burn their last timeout to stop the clock. Well, if they called the delay of game, you would have still had one more timeout, and when the fumble occurred, you would have at least had a timeout left to challenge it. I don't know if it would have got overturned, but at least you could have challenged it. So to me, you guys, we're going to come up with the Mick shot clock, right? When the thing expires, have a buzzer go off. Isn't that what they do in the NBA? You know, when the shot clock goes off, there's a buzzer and there's a light. Here, they rely on the back judge to watch the clock, and then when it hits 0-0, to look down to see if the ball's been snapped, right? Well, there's a second in between seeing the 0-0 and then looking down. You can't see both at the same time usually. So I think they need to fix that, especially when you make 2 mistakes like that are egregious in the game.
No, I think that's a really good idea. I think it's a damn good idea. I don't know why they wouldn't incorporate something like that. Mickey, obviously, COVID's obviously a question mark for everybody right now, and is a storyline once again. I know Micah Parsons obviously dealing with it, but how are the Cowboys kind of making their way through the COVID woes at this point?
Well, not very well these last couple of days. Not only is Parsons out, but Tyron Smith and Anthony Brown will likely miss the game on reserve COVID. And then they had 2 guys today, Donovan Wilson and Trayvon Diggs, that they listed as questionable of the game with an illness. Well, the last time I saw that, the next day the illness became reserve COVID. So we'll see what happens with that one tomorrow before they take off for Philadelphia. So, yeah, while the Eagles are having their problems, I think they got like 13 guys that were on COVID reserve, although some of them might get back in time. My guess is they don't want them back in time because they don't have much of a chance. I mean, the difference between the 6th seed and the 7th seed, so they could use the reserve COVID to call guys up off the practice squad and give those guys, a half a dozen of them starters, rest, and you can replace them with another guy off the practice squad. So, yeah, they've got their problems too, and now the Cowboys' problems seem to be mounting. It'd be interesting to see who's eligible to play in the game, let alone who you want to play in the game.
Mickey, what do you make? I'm sure I asked John Machota the same question yesterday, and I'll ask every Cowboys analyst because I'm curious on their particular view. But what do you make of the Pro Football Focus that Trayvon Diggs, if you take away the 11 game-changing interceptions, is not that good?
I don't recognize that site. I never have. They can't convince me that they have enough people to watch every play of every player in every game. And there's got to be some sort of grading system that compensates for interceptions. I mean, they're important. All the cornerbacks get beat. You know, and there's no one shutting down. Go look at the quarterback yardage after 16 games. I'm just perusing it right here. 4,600, 4,100, 4,900, 4,600, 4,500, 4,600, 4,100. Quarterbacks are throwing for a lot of yards. Somebody's getting beat out there. But the deal with corners to me is you got to make plays. You got to compensate for getting beat because it's going to happen with an interception or a pass breakup. So, yeah. And I was told, because I don't go to that site, that he was rated the 3rd best corner on the Cowboys team. well, okay, enough said.
Yeah.
Mickey, how do you feel just about this team? I mean, now that we're getting here towards the end, I mean, I know we've gone over quite a few different topics, but just how do you feel about the state of the Cowboys and where they sit in the pecking order as we start getting full drive near the postseason?
You know, it's almost which week are you asking me about, right? They can't seem to be consistent. Like, you get a 6-game winning streak, then you lose 3 of the next 4. You get a 4-game winning streak, and then you get beat by Arizona at home that had lost 3 consecutive games. Now, they were probably due to win one, and it's not like you got blown out. You know, 3 of their losses are by a grand total of 8 points combined. So it's not like they are getting wiped out. Now, a couple games, they got themselves beat. The Denver game, they got themselves punched in the nose. But 2 of the losses were walk-off field goals on the last play of the game. And then this one, you lose by 3 points. So, you know, I know when you get to playoffs, close doesn't count because you're out. But if the defense can continue to get takeaways because they give up way too many big plays, and it doesn't even out if they don't get the takeaways, and if the offense can just be a little bit more consistent. You know, I say where everybody was making a big deal of Zeke, you know, he needs 85 yards to rush for 1,000. There's only going to be, unless something dramatic happens this weekend, there's only going to be 5 guys rushing for 1,000 yards this year. And that's going to set an NFL record low because the previous low was 7 guys, was the least in any one season. So, yeah, I get it. But they got to do a better job of running the ball effectively. And I think Mike McCarthy said it today. He said, you know, we don't run the ball to just help the quarterback. We run the ball to help the team, which means if you're running the ball well, your defense not jumping back out on the field so often. And you can call plays differently and you can play defense differently because you know that you're running the ball. Look at the Eagles right now. They're the number 1 rushing team in the league. Now, a lot of that has to do with probably half of their rushing yards are Jalen Hurts. He's rushed for over 700 yards. He leads them in rushing, so that kind of skews the number. But still, they're controlling the ball by running it. And the Cowboys need to do a better job. The offensive line needs to do a better job. Maybe the play designs need to be better. I don't know, but you know, if you look at how well they ran the ball the first 6, 7 games of the season, 8 games of the season, and now look what's happening. You know, you hate to look up and see, well, we got 45 yards rushing on 20 carries, right? You know, that's not going to cut it in the playoffs. You got to do a better job running the football. And I'm not trying to be old school here, but it has ramifications, not just the numbers, but it affects how defenses play your quarterback if they got to worry about stopping the run. You know, all that stuff they're doing up front, playing 7-man fronts and then dropping a guy or 2 and bringing the rest. Well, if they got to worry about the run, they ain't playing all that hijinks up front. They got to worry about something else. So the Cowboys got to give them a little bit more to worry about, and that will help the protection that Dak hasn't had on a consistent basis.
Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Mick, enjoy Philly on a Saturday night, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, talk to you guys. See ya.
There we go. Yeah, Craig, I'm curious to see how that game plays out. I think it might be, you know, me sitting here on Saturday night watching an absolute dud. I'm very concerned about that. Of 2 teams, like a preseason game at the end of the year. That's what I feel like it's going to be like.
Yeah, this is exactly what the NFL was hoping for, right? When they extended the schedule, like people just get into the final week of the year, everybody's like, "Oh, who cares?" Yeah, there's you know, for this bonus game, there is not a lot of hype for it, that's for sure. But the good news is the playoffs are right around the corner, and
we lost Craig. All right.